Approximately 1 in every 59 children are born with autism. Albert Einstein.
Dr. Einstein had no speech until age 3. Steve Jobs, he was a loner. He brought snakes to school.
Leonardo da Vinci. This man was far advanced on the autism spectrum.
I'm not naughty. I'm autistic. And I just get too much information.
What benefits do you think you can get out of joining or participating in training about autism? This is Lloyd I am, and you're listening to Takiwātanga, Love Not Cure, Exploring Autism, One Strength at a Time. Hello again, how are you doing today? And I hope everyone is doing okay. I know it's pretty tough these days, especially with what's happening around us across New Zealand with COVID. But you know what? Just keep on holding on. Better days are coming, and that's for sure. As the saying goes, there will always be light at the end of the tunnel. All right, so this time we're going to talk about the training sessions that we have attended so far, how we got into these sessions, how we knew these sessions were happening or about to happen. Also, is the training worth your time? As of this writing, there are 2 training sessions that we have attended. And as of this recording, there is one that is currently ongoing. The first one was Exploring Autism. This is a 5-session training. It runs for about 1.5 hours per session. This is conducted by Explore Specialist Advice. This is a free training, but something to note that this is a limited training and there's a wait list. The second one is Sensory Training. This is a 4-session training and it runs about 1.5 hours, which is similar to the Explore Autism training. So how did we came across these training sessions? Well, after my son's formal assessment, or some would rather say autism diagnosis, which I prefer not to use because for some valid reasons for myself, it doesn't make sense if we call it diagnosis. We were assigned with a coordinator from the district health under Child Development Services. The coordinator helped us with providing as much information to get access to as much help we need. Similarly, we were also asked if we wanted to be considered for any available training that will be run or that will happen. And then they also have different providers. So that's it. It's simple as it is. And again, as I have mentioned previously, your case may be different from ours, especially if you are under a different district health. Talk to your first point of contact. It could be a district health coordinator, could be their psychologist, or some might be the pediatrician. You can go straight to your district health and ask. So I heard from another parent that they do not have a coordinator from the district, but their point person is the psychiatrist. So keep in mind, we're only talking about what's under the Ministry of Health. We have yet to touch the Ministry of Education part of this journey, and we will be discussing that part on different podcast episodes. All right, so for those training, my wife and I have decided whatever we receive, any notification about the training run, she will advise and confirm as soon as she can that we are interested in joining. If she receives or gets an email from the coordinator or from someone asking us if we are interested in joining or participating in autism training, she will respond to accept. And then from there, we will try and assess our schedule and calendar and work our way around it so that we can participate the training basically. And then we will clean up our schedule for that time or day, if it requires the whole day, and then participate so we can learn more about the journey and about autism. Trainings such as this are very important in our perspective, and we needed to make sure that we can participate in as much as we can, especially in those sessions being run by people who already have experience or years of experience around autism. This session will not just give you a wider view and understanding about autism, but also will give you opportunities to meet other parents who will also be sharing their experiences, which is very important. So that's how we were made aware about the training sessions that's going to happen in our area. All right, so let's move on our main topic. What to expect when you get to attend the Exploring Autism training. When we participated in Exploring Autism training, this was held in Tawa, Wellington. The first day we were given an introduction about autism. Main discussion point on this topic focused on understanding about autism and what are the techniques to know similar autistic behaviors. And the person handling the training will also discuss about repetitive behaviors, sensory processing, and how a person with autism sees and experiences the world. So this will be an eye-opening for those who will be participating in the session. It was also mentioned how important it is to find other people who are also in the same journey, people who walk the talk, so to speak. And then people who walk the talk will also share their insights and give you additional information about the things that work for them and that didn't. I think I did mention this a while ago as well. And for me, my take is to have a list of strategies. This will be an additional tools on your toolbox. Additional resources will also be provided during the session. And basically, the first day sets the tone for the entire training, and it will be the foundation of the whole 5-day training course. The second day, the focus discussion is about social communication. Why is it important, especially for parents and people on the autism spectrum? And also, when we talk about communication, we are not just talking about the language. Communication is a very, very wide topic. And then we are also talking about being able to understand what the other person is trying to convey or communicate to us. You'll be given many ideas on different ways of communicating to an autistic person. And the main takeaway I got from this session is the need to capture a person's attention and only give one information at a time, especially for your child. The more information you present, the more you will not be able to clearly communicate what you're trying to say, and will just be an overwhelming information for the other persons. I will give you an example perhaps. So my youngest son is a 4-year-old child, and he is nonverbal, and he can only understand about 1 to 2 words at this point. We used to teach him how to throw rubbish in the rubbish bin, and we used to say, "Can you please put this rubbish in the rubbish bin inside the kitchen?" So you thought it would just be an easy, straightforward sentence, right? But in my child's brain, it's a bit different. My son will not listen and will just carry on with whatever he's doing. So after learning this concept of making communication simple and as much as possible easy to get, i.e. just use 1 to 2 words maybe. So that idea came into the picture, and then we practiced that at home. So now, instead of saying the whole sentence, "Can you please put the rubbish in the rubbish bin inside the kitchen?" we cut that sentence into just 2 words. Now we just say rubbish bin or rubbish please, and then he magically gets it, and then he'll just pick up the rubbish and put it in the rubbish bin. Similarly, if we are upstairs, he will just go straight to the bin near the toilet and put the rubbish there. So as the saying goes, less is more. Let's carry on with the discussion. During the same day, you will also be exposed to visual strategies and how important it is to play sessions when communicating with your child. I remember when my son was seen by a nutritionist because he was a picky eater. I'll probably not use the word picky eater. Rather, he senses something on the food and he's not going to eat it. I'm still trying to figure out what terminology I will use there. But for argument's sake, we'll just use picky eater. So he was a picky eater, and we were shown a strategy to make eating a fun activity for kids. Similar to that situation, when I was growing up in the Philippines, we were told not to play with food and give it respect, because there are a lot of people who are not eating and who cannot afford to eat and buy themselves some food. And I just couldn't imagine how it was like back then for people on the spectrum. So far, things have changed, and making eating a fun way to do for kids is different from playing with your food and wasting it. So right now, if there's a new type of food that we want to introduce to my child, we do it by making making it fun to eat. And the main goal is for my child to put the food near his mouth, because if he will not allow you to put the food anywhere near his mouth, there's no chance that he will eat it. There are other factors as well that we also need to consider or take into account, especially the taste of the food, the color of the food, the smell, the look and feel. Okay, so let's head to the third day. This day is about sensory processing. This session only talks about sensory processing from a high-level perspective, in my view. For this training, it can be expanded further. There's another training that I've mentioned, which is the 4-day sensory processing training that talks about sensory processing on a deeper level. So it will give you a deeper understanding about sensory processing. And then the main discussion focus for this session is basically all about our senses. We were usually told that we have 5 types of senses, wherein we have the sense of sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch, which is very basic, right? And then for this sensory processing training, they have introduced 3 more senses, and I'm not just talking about the 6th sense or something like that. So the first additional sense, which is in this case, is the 6th, which is the vestibular, which is like our body GPS. It is about our body movement with respect to gravity. And then the second, which is the 7th sense, we have the interoception. This is the conscious awareness of our body state. This is what happens inside our body. If we are feeling hungry, do we need to go to the toilet? We feel our heartbeat. So this is everything that is internal. And then the third, or the 8th sense, is the proprioception. This is how our eyes, ears, or muscles sense the body position and then signals it to our brain, and then we adjust our position. So these are the 3 additional senses, and I'm not going to talk about this in detail, and I'm looking at discussing these senses in a different episodes, especially I'm undergoing this sensory processing training, so I should be able to discuss this on later episodes. For the 4th day, the session is all about thinking and learning. This day focuses on how we can use the visual strength of our child in learning. Again, we will use learning and strength, or learning and play strategy, to encourage learning to our kids. There's this so-called theory of mind where we understand the other person's point of view, so it will be used as well as part of the strategy. There are also autism-friendly resources that can be used as an additional tool or resource. So the main objective for this session is basically how we can introduce learning skills for our child. And just like making eating as a fun activity, we also need to make sure that learning is also a fun activity for them. Okay, so last day, which is day 5. This is the last day of the discussion. And the discussion is all about how we can support stress, anxiety, and different behaviors of people who are on the autism spectrum. What made sense for me during this session is about being able to differentiate a tantrum and a meltdown, and how to perhaps be able to regulate the child's emotion whenever you come across this situation. So what to do if you feel like your child is heading through the meltdown phase. So there will be different strategies that will be taught to you, what to do when your child is heading down the meltdown phase. So a tantrum is a behavior which is used sometimes by kids if they want to get their own way. And then a meltdown is a distress tantrum. So practical tools will be available to you to try and prevent the meltdown. And then they will be taught to you and see if they will work. And then if not, then move on to the next. So same as before, there are resources to be provided to parents, and also a lot of experience sharing among parents will happen as well that day. And in our case, it's a bit challenging to figure out when the meltdown will happen. And sometimes we are unaware if it will happen or when my son's cup is full. So we just need to figure out when it's about to happen, so at least we can apply those strategies. So there we are. That's what you can expect when you join or participate in Exploring Autism. What I like about the training is that In every topic, participants get to share their experience or experiences, their strategies, and things they do during the discussions. If not, again, keep on saying this, I keep on reiterating. If it's not going to work, move on to the next and see if that will work. And then in the end, you will be able to find out what's going to work for you and your child. So for our next episode, I'll be sharing our experience about the sensory training that we are participating right now. So stay tuned. Every tangata phi Takiwātanga or person with autism is different. If you fail with one strategy, don't stop. Keep moving forward. Always remember that for every failure you encounter is one step closer to your success. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, Memuto te whakawa haere. Let's stop judging others. Me mahi tahi tato. Let's all work together. Kia maya, kia kaha, be brave and be strong. Please don't forget to like and share so others can also find us. Thank you.